a very interesting topic. Uh, what are the future trends in this profession in litigation? So, first and foremost, I welcome all the participants and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you. Coming from a lawyer family, I decided to change the color of my uniform, and instead of black and white, I decided to wear the greens. And I joined the Judge Advocate General's Department of the Army, where I served for 35 years and retired as the Judge Advocate General in 2015. And since then, I am heading the Amity Law School, Amity University, Gurugram. Uh, it's a very, very interesting subject. When I was also on the verge of deciding what should I become after after 12th, this is a general question. In our time, I did my ISC, so it was 11th. So sometimes your family decides it for you. Sometimes there is peer pressure, uh, and very rarely it is our own passion to go and go into a particular profession. So fortunately for me, my father told me that it is your life and you have to take a call. What do you want to do? And I, I thank myself and my parents that choose this wonderful profession of law. Friends, in our times, I did my law in 1978. Those are the times where the only professions probably were you become a doctor, you become an engineer, or you become a lawyer. And lawyer was more of netagiri than a very sincere profession at that point of time. But with the advent of these 5 years integrated law courses, it has become a very, very technical, going and standing in a court, my lord, huzur, produce witnesses, examine documents, and all those sort of things. But things are changing, and things are changing very fast. The legal profession is trending. You guys will understand the word trending. What is the fashion today? What is trending in the market? So you will probably understand it better by the term as trending. Law is changing. In about half an hour or so, I will discuss with you how law is and what are the present trends in this legal profession. It is no more a courtroom profession now, or I would say it is not only the courtroom profession now. It is spreading, globalization, your internationalization. So law entering each and every field of our life. So let me begin with saying, as it is said, it is a very, very noble profession and a healing. It gives you a healing touch. It says the law is one of the great healing professions. While medicine heals the body and the clergy heals the soul, the law heals societal rifts. Any dispute, any dispute, those gone are the days when it was an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Today, law will decide, law will uh, come in between and decide the disputes, the rifts which we have in our society. So let us begin with what is law as a career. Very jokingly, once I had asked my father, who was a practicing lawyer, I said, Papa, vakil kaun hota hai? So he said on a lighter note, he said, what people think is वकील वो होता है जो दो लोगों को लड़ा दे और जब वो लड़ रहे हैं तो उनके कपड़े उठाकर भाग जाए. He says no. Law is a highly noble profession. Law is what the society is. Right? So for young students who want to become lawyers, it is very important to choose your field, in what profession you would like to go. And let me tell you, not only law, but any profession that you wish to pick up will have its challenges. And it is only and only your hard work and dedication and professional competence that will take you through. So these days, law is now becoming a globally challenging career, because as I mentioned to you, there is not a field in which you don't need law. So how do you learn law? The law schools are the learning grounds where we not only teach you the basics of law, but we also conduct certain co-curricular activities which prepare you for the realities of the profession, the on-ground working, in addition to your own theoretical knowledge, by organizing regular internships, by organizing moot court competitions, by organizing various debating competitions, MNUs. The law schools gear you up to get into the real world. Now, see, as I told you, a global challenge, law, because of the globalization, because of the concept of one world now coming up, we are becoming, the lives are intermingling. It is no more your own state, intra-state, intra-countries. So you're going from one country to another. With multinationals coming in, there is a great need for lawyers. You go and establish, Indians go and establish a company abroad, or a foreign company comes and establishes office in India. We must know each other's law. So law is now, globalization is really trending and reshaping the legal profession. Legal process outsourcing. You will wonder, what is legal process outsourcing? You all know. I'm sure you all know. So, like other fields, in law also there is outsourcing. So companies are outsourcing their legal issues to law firms, and therefore this is a new trend which is developing in the times to come. It has already started, and more globalization, more internationalization, more of legal outsourcing will take place. I will deal with these in a little more detail in my next slide. Social networking. You guys today are very good in social networking. All these platforms, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, all these things, these are all working in the field of law. I'm sure most of you know that the messages on WhatsApp which have been read are now taken as evidence by courts of law. So social platforms are becoming very important, and since social platforms are becoming very important, social networking in the profession of law is again one of the trends that is reshaping this business. Earlier, there was no social networking. I would just pick up a telephone and speak to somebody. Today, I can share documents and documents on social platform. So my client may send his case to me online. I will reply him online. So I will get in touch with another council, another company. So I'm developing a network, a social network, to go deeper into my profession and make my profession work faster. There are virtual law firms, right? So, like today, I'm speaking to you. The clients are speaking to their firms. There are which are giving online advices. So all these platforms are reshaping the legal profession. And as I mentioned to you, legal profession is not just confined to courtrooms. It is virtual, it is global, it is total outsourcing. networking. So I just give you short time to read what is written here. Globalization is nothing new, but it's gaining momentum along with the growth of the internet, emerging technology tools, the automation of processes, and developments in data security. And that's very important, data security. It continues to reshape the landscape of the industry as law firms continue to expand their footprints worldwide. And similarly, the counsels from other countries are coming and discussing cases with our lawyers in our country. So globalization is expanding and has put huge footprints worldwide. Legal process outsourcing, both onshore and offshore. So within the country and outside the country, as first capabilities, right? So firms, why I country, I'm in law, but I find that uh, in as a at the companies, 3, 4 players combine together, and then we take a call, you discuss with each other, you not only increase your own network, you also learn from them, right? Virtual law firms, powerful mobile devices. For in our times, we would have a mobile which would be as heavy as a normal telephone, and it will take hours to get connected. If I have to talk to somebody from Delhi to Jaipur, I would have to book a trunk call, and then it'll after about 5, 6 hours it will materialize. Today, I am virtually connected to anybody. So the firms are also become law firms have also become virtual. I just get into their website, I speak to the concerned person, I take advice, I share documents. Let me tell you, while I was in the army, I never dreamt that I will be addressing a webinar where about 150 people are there and I'm sharing my PPT with them. So this is wonderful use of technology which has been adopted and continues to be adopted by legal professionals also, and these things are really reshaping the entire litigation. Now friends, uh, litigation in a court of law is a reality that will never go away from our country. Our laws are such, trials cannot take place online. That's a fact. In this difficult time of pandemic, although the Supreme Court and High Courts have started online hearings, but those hearings are only of important cases. Cases considered important by the Supreme Court and the relevant high courts, right? So lower courts still are not online, and we have a huge networking of courts in our country, large number of courts at the grassroots level. It is going to take lot of time. So that concept of courtroom will not go away. It may reduce, it will not go away. But with is changing and the manner of practice is changing. So if some of you have felt it is very boring to go and stand in a court and bow down before a judge and my lord and get witness and get adjournment and all that, no, things are changing and very fast changing. and you are the guys who are part of this change. Now, in my time, when I became a lawyer, or most of the lawyers, kindly see, these laws were not even known, not even available to us. What will be law? Civil law, disputes, property dispute, income tax. What more? Some family disputes, divorce, and all that. Those were the only things where lawyers were practicing. But today, with the artificial intelligence coming up in such a big way, you you don't even have to go into any other thing. You pick up any of these things, there is so much in law to work. And not because I'm a lawyer, not because I'm a director of a law school that I am telling you, but no profession has increased or flourished so much as law, because law will be there every day. I'll just move away from the main topic. I'll tell you why I'm saying law is there every day. While in the army, I went to attend an international seminar in USA, and their naval command, Western Naval Command of the US, had organized that international conference. I was amazed to know that in their Marine Corps, they have 8,000 officers, right? Every ship that sails will have a legal officer. Even when there is an operation to take place, if they have to file a missile, in the operations room, a Judge Advocate General's officer is sitting. They are showing him the factual positions and asking him violation of human rights, violation of international laws. So, if a lawyer can get to such an extent, you can understand in the civil life how fast things are changing. You all are aware of this blockchain, cyber security. Every day there is theft, and cyber crimes are increasing. Your photographs are morphed, your data is stolen, your bank account is hacked, right? So it is coming up in such a big way. If artificial intelligence and if internet will increase, so will the cyber security needs increase, so will the cyber crimes increase, and so will the need for law. Forensics, cyber forensics. I mean, just going to a forensic lab and getting a test done, you will have in your cyber security, there is so much of cyber forensics involved. So a separate law is developing in all these fields. Now, alternate dispute resolution. What is ADR? Uh, if it is, if internationalization will pick up the way it is picking up, do you think that the international firms, or for that matter, your own Indian firm, interested in dragging on cases in courts of law? No. Everybody is looking at quick disposal. Everybody is looking at how quickly they can resolve the issue so that they don't lose much money, they don't lose much business. So alternate dispute resolution mechanism has picked up so fast. Arbitration, conciliation, mediation. You know, uh, uh, I think you must have seen on Netflix, there is a series known as Panchayat. What is Panchayat? The Panch means five. Five headmen of the village will sit, hear both the parties, and take a decision. Right? No need to go to a court of law. Sometimes the decisions are not in consonance with law, but alternate dispute resolution comes from the concept of panchayat. The Gaon Buddha, oh, he will take a call. Okay, no, I have heard both of you. Now go do like this. That is how alternate dispute resolution is coming up. Any contract that is now being drafted, it contains a provision for arbitration and conciliation, meaning thereby the firms, the business, is no more interested in going to a court of law. So that's trending, artificial dispute resolution. And this is international also. There is an arbitration council, both international and national. So it's a fabulous. There can be a biological warfare, terrorism. What you need laws relating to chemical, biological, neurological warfares, right? Therefore, not only space law, but also laws relating to all these things. Then education law, right? Some people say that education has become a business. Why not? Why not? If I have to give you quality education, I must be as firm as a business. But there is a difference in that business. My business should be honest studies, honest knowledge transfer to my students. So see, there is no all these things you find agli tarikh, right? So these are things where people are working very hard. There are tribunals coming up on each such issues, which will render justice much faster. Now, right? There's nothing better than what Bollywood can explain to us. So to take you away from mundane speaking, this is generally, I'm just going to show you a small clip. One of the most famous courtroom drama, which was trying to project what is the courtrooms, what are the trials gone to in our case. Just enjoy this.
अब तो अगली तारीख दे ही दी जाए। मिलाद, तारीख देने से पहले मैं कुछ कहूंगा, इजाजत है। पहली तारीख में यह कहा गया कि दामिनी पागल है, उसे पागलखाने भेज दिया, जहां उसे पागल बनाने की पूरी कोशिश की गई। दूसरी तारीख से पहले अस्पताल में पड़ी उर्मी का खून कर दिया गया और केस बना खुदकुशी का, जबकि इस अदालत में मैंने यह साबित कर दिया कि उर्मी ने खुदकुशी नहीं की, उसका खून हुआ है। और शेखर भी उस दिन सारे सच कहने ही वाला था कि चड्ढा साहब ने फिर से अपनी चाल चल दी, बीमारी का नाटक करके तारीख ले ली। नहीं तो उसी दिन मिलॉर्ड इस केस का फैसला हो जाता। और आज आप फिर से तारीख दे रहे हैं। उस तारीख से पहले सड़क पर कोई ट्रक मुझे मार कर चला जाएगा और केस बनेगा रोड एक्सीडेंट का। आप फिर से तारीख दे देंगे और उस तारीख से पहले दामिनी को पागल बनाकर पागलखाने में फेंक दिया जाएगा। और इस तरह ना तो सच्चाई के लिए लड़ने वाला रहेगा, ना ही इंसाफ मांगने वाला। रह जाएगी तो सिर्फ तारीख। और यही होता रहा है मिलॉर्ड, तारीख पर तारीख, तारीख पर तारीख, तारीख पर तारीख, तारीख पर तारीख मिलती रही है, लेकिन इंसाफ नहीं मिला मिलॉर्ड, इंसाफ नहीं मिला। मिली है तो सिर्फ ये तारीख। अब तो अगली तारीख।
Right. So this is what has always been thought of the Indian courtroom profession. Right. Now we say that we render justice as lawyers. We render justice. Then why do we defend criminals? Why should we defend criminals? Somebody murders a person in broad daylight. Somebody commits theft. He's caught red-handed, but still there must be a conviction by a court of law. And why all these bad people, why these kala kotwalas come and defend these bad people? They are murderers, they are rapists. We all know what happened in Nirbhaya. Still, it took 7 years for that case to decide, because law is that an accused is innocent till he is proved guilty by the prosecution, right? So I'm just playing a small clip with regard to the position of a criminal defense lawyer, right? Don't misunderstand. Defense lawyer is supposed to be taking cases. So I'll just play this. Hear it.
जैसे confession box में वैसे priest को आते हैं. Let's say a man confesses his crime. Does the priest go to the police? No. वो उसे spiritual guidance देते हैं, सही direction दिखाते हैं. एक priest की यही social responsibility, सामाजिक जिम्मेदारी. उसी तरह एक डिफेंस लॉयर की ऑब्लिगेशन वो अपने क्लाइंट को लॉफुली एबिलिटी डिफेंड करे, क्योंकि हर अपनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट है टू प्रॉपर.
Every accused has a constitutional right to be defended by a counsel of his choice, right? So for defense lawyers, let us not think wrongly about them. And what he very rightly said is legally protect the interests of his client. Don't create wrong things, but legally protect the interests of his client. Now see, normally how multifaceted the law professionals can be. When you graduate, what are the options available to you? You become advocates, right? You start practicing in a court of law. You become legal advisors, right? Firms may not have permanent employees as of lawyers, but they may employ as legal advisors, sometimes seeking advice. The government has legal advisors, right? All ministries have legal advisors with them. You become judges. You clear the judicial services exam and you become lordships, judges. JAG officers, Judge Advocate General Department officers. I have a passion for this profession. You see, what the armed forces can teach you, the discipline, the hard work, the sincerity, the dedication, no other organization does. So a JAG officer in the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, and you'll be happy to know even Coast Guard, Border Security Force, the Central Reserve Police Forces, they all have their own cadres of legal officers. So in the armed forces, the JAG officer's basic job is to go and conduct court martials, to give legal advice to the formation commanders, to the commanding officers, to conduct trials, to look after the litigation in the courts, right? And point contact between the armed forces and the Ministry of Defense. Policy planners, right? I mean, the government has the Law Commission. What does Law Commission do? What do the people sitting in the Law Ministry do? They plan, make policies for the government. So you can join as policy planners, business advisors. I mean, this is undoubtedly picking up so fast. Any businessman wouldn't want any legal hurdles in start and processing of his business. So he must secure all ends legally. So you become business advisors. And you all know, in the integrated law courses, we have BA LLB, we have BBA LLB, we have BCom LLB, we have BSc LLB. So imagine a BSc LLB, a science graduate also with a law degree. So how good he is. Negotiators among interest groups. You see, alternate dispute resolution. You become a negotiator between two litigating parties, right? And you negotiate between them. One is sitting somewhere, the other is sitting somewhere. Both come to you, you decide, and you negotiate between the two parties. Experts in articulation and communication of ideas. You write articles, right? You go and deliver lectures. Such fabulous things you can do. Mediators. I already mentioned to you in the alternate dispute resolution. You have arbitrators, you have mediators, you have conciliation proceedings, right? So you become mediators, lobbyists. I mean, some of the finest lawyers can do this job, lobbying for groups, law reformers. You advise on the laws that the parliament is passing, and they are very much taken care of, right? So these are certain things which your normal practice you can get into it. And as I mentioned to you, the things that are now completely changing the scenario of legal practice, right? So as far as uh, what I was wanting to convey to you on the reshaping and what are the prospects available. Now, let me tell you, with that entire thing in mind, we at MIT Law School have devised our syllabi in a manner, our pedagogy in a manner, our teachers conduct classes in a manner that we cater for the changing needs of the society, the changing laws. MIT is known for its research and innovative life. So we focus on practical learning. We arrange internships with some top companies, with some good advocates, with the government organizations, with the NGOs. So practical learning, and in practical learning, we also, as I mentioned to you initially, organize moot court competitions, organize debating competitions, essay writing competitions, so that you get to know the actual legal profession on ground. Then we focus on producing specialists in various fields of law like litigation, corporate law, arbitration, mediation, drafting of legal instruments, policy making, research, and academics. Why? Because in the previous slide, if you recollect, I told you that these are the things which are now fast gaining importance. We do this by all these extra curricular and co-curricular activities. Then we have a very good mix of senior and young teachers, some of them who have quit the corporate profession and joined law, some are practicing and have joined law. So we have a beautiful mix of the experience, which gives a very good insight to the law students to come up to their fullest potential. We keep taking advice from the industry on what is known as board of studies. We every 6 months we conduct a board of studies to see what changes our curriculum needs. We get experts from the industry. We get help from the retired judges, from practicing lawyers who come and revise and see our syllabus and suggest what we can do. And although we are just, let me tell you, we are just 8 years old. The university started in 2010. The law school started in 2012. Today, of 8 years, we have two of our students who are part of Delhi Judicial Services. They are already judges. You may have heard the name of Legal Bytes. I'm very proud that Mayank Shekhar, the owner of Legal Bytes, is our alumnus. Wonderful firms, top leading lawyers like Mr. Harish Salve and Mr. Mukul Rohtkey, our students have worked with them. The government organizations. So in the Supreme Court and the High Courts, our students are practicing. So that is as far as the ALS USP goes. So I think as far as I'm concerned, I have finished. Now, if you have any questions, then I can request Mr. Mayank, if there are any questions that I will try my level best to answer them.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Mayank, but थोड़ा आवाज कम है, but yes, I can hear you. बताइए.
Sir, there's a few questions from participants.
Okay.
Deepak asked, put some light on energy law as a growing career.
Energy law as a growing career.
Yes, sir.
Yes, like the other professions I showed. Again, energy is not only your normal light. Energy would gradually include your atomic energy, your nuclear energy, and these are going to be of prime importance to our country. Knowing what neighbors we have, knowing the threat that we have. So not only from strategic point of view, but also from the development point of view, energy laws are already gaining and have a very bright future in the times to come.
Okay, sir. A few more questions.
Yeah.
Does the law curriculum have courses that help students enhance their skills to meet the requirements of globalization?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. You see, certain concepts are developing. And I mentioned to you that every 6 months we have our board of studies and we keep revising as per the new laws that come, the changes that come in the laws. See, the government is very fast working on artificial intelligence, blockchain. So government is also in the process of formulating laws to regulate litigation in these fields. And we keep abreast with these laws. Whatever laws come, we immediately incorporate in our syllabi and we start interacting with our students on those laws, right? Whatever changes have come in the Information Technology Act. We have gone into that. See, environmental laws, whatever changes, whatever public interest litigations are being filed every day, the constitution is changing. There is something known as constitution and constitutionalism. The courts, the judicial activism of the courts is giving new interpretations to the meanings of the articles of constitution. So we keep incorporating those things in our law, and not only nationally but globally. Whatever laws which are going to affect our lawyers, our society, we keep abreast with that law and we impart that knowledge to our students.
Okay. So the next question is, do you offer any specializations?
Specializations.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. We do offer specializations. We have a choice-based curriculum. So we have various subjects. There are certain subjects which are mandatory to be taught by the Bar Council of India. Each law school has to be governed by the Bar Council of India, and so are we. So whatever laws are mandatory by the Bar Council of India, we teach those subjects. In addition to that, we give you a basket of other laws from which you can pick up. Like last year, we have also added military law. So similarly, human rights, information, to teach such which the society, and we offer them. You'll be very happy to note that in Amity Laws, in Amity University, every student, including a law student, is given a foreign language, which is mandatory for each law student. So for 3 years, you are also graduating in a foreign language, right? So in addition to, and then we have our various other activities for specialization purposes. So we do have specializations. In fact, I am not aware of the level of the participants at this point of time, but in LLM we have 3 specializations. We have 1 year LLM, and we give criminal law, we have constitution and administrative law, and we have corporate law. And we intend, with the requirement of the students, we keep adding the specializations. So yes, we do have specializations.
Sir, actually, there is an add-on question from Mr. Deepak Sethia.
Yeah.
What are the sectors where energy lawyers can be recruited?
What are the sectors in which energy lawyers can be recruited?
Yes, sir.
So, Setya, firstly, the government will come up with your employment. Secondly, there are companies which will come up who will deal with all these energy things. So the companies will take up. The government will require lawyers in the government, and therefore the private practice will flourish. Because if two or three companies come up, there'll be dispute. There'll be dispute with the government. There'll be dispute with the employees. There'll be controversies in the laws that are made. So gradually, as the law develops, the requirement will increase, both in the public sector, government, and the private sector. Yes.
Sir, two more questions.
Yes, please.
One is, do you provide international exposure in MET? Also guide about training and internship.
Yeah. International exposure. We have student connect programs. We have 3 continent programs. My at least 20 of my students have gone to US, Singapore, Hong Kong. Amity University provides the summer training programs to students, 3 weeks. In 3 continent program, 3 months. So our students go there and we give them credits for their international visit. I think about 20 of my students have already been there, and in fact one of my students went to Singapore and did her LLM from there, and now she's working for Trilegal. Our internships, we give complete support to our students. We have a corporate resource center. The corporate resource center organizes the process of internships, organizes the process of placements also. But if you recollect one of my slides, I told you networking. My friends, a time comes when my students don't come to me requesting for internships. They make such good themselves that they come and tell me, sir, this time I'm going to intern with so and so. I feel so proud that this is the confidence that is needed. But we provide 100% support to our students for internship. You'll be surprised, even during this lockdown period, 4 of my students sent applications to me saying that we want to do internships at such and such place. We have facilitated their internships. We have written to the concerned organizations, and very kindly they have accepted. See, all organizations have their own ways and means of selecting people for internships, but we will give, and we do give, all out support for training, for internships, everything.
Sir, for this year, when the session will start, how can I apply?
These admission process is already on. Admission process is already on. We have received more than 600 applications already. See, kindly go to the MET site, and there is unless you are very keen to come to the university for your personal interview, we have done away with the written exam. For the undergraduates, there is a 1-minute video about yourself. You upload that video. We will assess your video. We will see your academic career, and we have already started the admissions. The admission process is already on. I will request you to go to the MET website and apply.
Okay, sir. The last is
I'm some good scholarships and all that we provide. You will find everything on the website.
Yes, sir. Available. Everything is available on the website.
Yeah.
The last question is, sir, what are your suggestions to newcomers to legal fraternity?
What are the suggestions about?
Suggestions for newcomers in legal fraternity.
Newcomers.
Yes.
What type of suggestion? See, my suggestion is, my friend, I told you earlier also, not because I am a lawyer, not because I'm a director law, that I am telling you that law is the best. No. I have been in this profession now for 40 years. I have seen it in and out, and I have fortunately seen it both from the military and civil side. Nothing to beat this profession, the vastness of this profession, the growth of this profession. But what is needed is hard work, dedication, sincerity, good communication skills, and truthfulness. I mean, on the last point, you may feel that वकील तो झूठ बोलता है. No, he's not telling lies. He's interpreting a law in a different manner for the client. So if you have these qualities, if you work on these qualities, stops you from rising to the pinnacle in this profession, right? One advice is, don't think that from day one you will start earning into lakhs. Nobody has earned that. Nobody has earned that. And like yesterday I was watching one of the TV shows, entertainment, some old show, where they were trying to say that film star का बेटा या बेटी होने का ये मतलब नहीं है कि आपको काम मिल जाएगा. You will have to work hard for it. Maybe you may get an opening, but if you are not a good actor, you will not survive. So similarly, you may be the son or daughter of the best judge of the country, the best lawyer of the country. Unless you have your own acumen, you will not survive in this profession. So dedication, sincerity, hard work, truthfulness, good communication skills.
Thank you, sir.
Sky
Thank you
is
so
the
much
limit.
for,